welcome you back once again in geological knowledge. So as you all know, that is in the previous video we have discussed about the previous year question paper, and we have started our discussion with the 2019 paper. And in the previous video we have talked the geology paper 1 and geology paper 2, in which we have talked about the pattern of the examination and the type of the questions which are being asked generally in the examinations, and how you have to answer the questions. Okay, and if you have got two questions, you all know that is two questions will be there in a particular unit or in a particular section, and you have to cover only one question from that. And the ultimate care has to be shown while attempting or while selecting that particular question. If you know the answer of, as I have told, that is generally two questions will be there, and first question, one question there will be two parts, and another question there will be three parts. So if you know the answer of three parts, better will be to attempt that question. Okay, and why you have to do that? For that you have to watch that previous video. I will provide the link in the description box, and from there you can just watch that video, because that will be very helpful for you to understand the process of answer writing practice. That is how you will frame your mind makeup, that how you have to react to a particular question, and especially the question which has not been which may you may have been studied, you may have uh, studied about that particular question, but just because it has been modified, you are not you are not able to answer that particular question. Okay, so don't be confused, just have a proper look. If you are not understanding, if you are not, if you are unable to understand that particular question, just read it once again. Okay, twice or thrice, and I think you will get the crux of that particular question, that what is being asked. Sometimes what happens, we just read that particular question, and we just we just search for that particular keyword, and we just start writing that particular question. No, that is not a right answer. That's not a right way to answer that particular. We must understand that what has been asked in the question. Okay, accordingly you have to write the answer. If you have not understood that what has been asked in the examination or what has been asked in the question, and you are writing anything else, so that will not be counted. Okay, so that answer will not be taken into evaluation process. Okay, so and subsequently that will put a negative impact on other answers. So better is to read that particular questions once or twice, and still if you are not in condition to answer that particular question, so just leave it. Don't write any wrong answer. Okay, because that will put a negative impact on that particular question, and it will affect the whole syllabus, whole paper also. Okay, so better will be to skip that question if you don't know answer. Okay, so in this video we will talk about the geology paper 3 and geology paper hydrogeology. Okay, so before we start our discussion, I will like to suggest you to subscribe this channel, because I am making the videos for, and that will be very helpful for one to understand. Okay, so let's start our discussion. So firstly we will talk about geology paper 3, and that is paper of 2019 year. So in the compulsory section, as you can see, you just understand or just read that question, that write on answer each of the following in short with sketches wherever necessary. You must understand or you must read the instructions. Okay, so first question is graphite deposits of India and their industrial uses of the graphites. So where the graphites are being classified or occurring, graphite deposition in India and their industrial uses. So you all know that is the most important use of graphite, that is in the making of pencils. Okay, and there are other uses also. Next one is primary and secondary dispersion halos and their significance in the mineral exploration process. So as you know, in the geochemical mineral processes or geochemical exploration, the primary and secondary halo dispersion halos, they play a very important role. Okay, and you have to discuss that thing as well as their significance in mineral exploration process also. Third one is briefly explain the planning of a gravity survey for mineral exploration, emphasizing the needful corrections. Okay, what are the corrections? There are 4 or 5 corrections, I think. Booger free anomaly correction, the and others are also, I don't remember all the corrections. Okay, so you have to discuss the 4 or 5 corrections. And next one is classification of placer deposits and geographical distribution of placer deposits in India. So we all know that is in Indian subcontinent, the placer deposits are generally lying at the coastal tracts of India, especially the Kerala, okay, Odisha, West Bengal. Okay, so the coastal tracts and of coastal plains of Tamil Nadu also, so they play a very major role in the occurrences of the placer deposits. And placer deposits, they generally occur in the sand. Okay, so that thing you have to discuss. And next question is thermometry of ore using fluid inclusions. Okay, supergene sulfide as well as the oxide mineralization or the enrichment with the necessary chemical reactions. So supergene sulfide enrichment as well as the oxide mineralization enrichment, that you have to discuss with suitable chemical reactions. Okay, and in which you have to talk about the Goson also, I think, because if you understand the process of supergene enrichment, in which you would have seen or the oxidation and the supergene enrichment process, in which you have to talk about the particular zones of sulfide enrichment, the zone of oxidation, supergene enrichment zone, as well as the primary zone. Okay, and you have to, as you can see in the question, it has been given with the necessary chemical reactions. So in chemical reactions, what you have to discuss? The process of supergene enrichment. Okay, in which the oxidation and the solutions. Okay, and in which you would have understood, or if you have studied about that particular topic, you would have understood that the most of the primary sulfide deposits, especially of copper, silver, lead and zinc, they contain pyrite or the FeS2 as we know. So the surface water, they containing the dissolved oxygen that reacts with pyrite and yields iron sulfide or iron sulfates as well as the sulfuric acid, and both of which are of soluble in nature. Okay, so that reaction you have to mention. And in the supergene sulfide enrichment process or the supergene sulfide deposition, there you have also to discuss that reaction of copper sulfide that is precipitated from the solution by the replacement of the primary sphalerite or the ZNS. Okay, so these two reactions you have to particularly discuss. Okay, and next one is briefly explain the Barmer Sancor core basin, emphasizing the source rock as well as the reservoir rock. So you all know that is the Barmer, and this Barmer basin, that is a very new host rock for the petroleum reservoirs or the petroleum exploration. So ONGC, that is busy in the exploratory processes in the Barmer basin. Okay, so in that regard the question has been asked. Next one is explain the coal microlithotypes as well as the maceral types. So I think we have discussed this question already in detail. You can watch in the playlist, as I will share the link in the description box, from where you can watch this video. And when I was discussing about the syllabus of geoscientist examination, I have already talked, that is the microlithotypes and the maceral groups of coal. okay, as well as the proximate and ultimate analysis of coal. These three are the very important topic from the exam point of view. Every year the question is generally asked from these three topics. One question is generally asked, okay, either the microlithotypes of the or the Maserel groups, or the proximate analysis of coal, or the ultimate analysis of the coal. Okay, next one is list any 5 factors that determine the stability of a tunnel and dam. Okay, so in this particular question you have to discuss about the factors that determine the stability of a tunnel as well as the dam. Okay, in which what you have to discuss the stability factor. Suppose like list any 5 factors that determine the stability of a tunnel or a dam. Okay, and next one is describe the different types of dams and which type of dam is most widely constructed in India. Okay, currently I don't have any idea of this particular question, that is which type of dam is most widely constructed in India. In next video I will discuss the answer of this particular question. Even I have no idea about this particular question, but different types of dams you can easily discuss about the different types of dams in India. Okay, the earth dam, the buttress dam, okay, and other types of dam, as you must have understood, or you would have understand or studied about the dams. So basically you have to discuss about the arc dam, the gravity dam, okay, buttress dam, and the earth dam. Okay, so these are the compulsory questions which you have to focus on. The compulsory questions, you must focus on the compulsory question because there are 10 questions and you have to just write the questions in the limited space. Okay, so if you know the answer of particular question, it will be very easy for you to write that particular question. And I think you will get, if the question is of 5 marks, if you have write down the answer sufficiently, then you will get, I think, 3 or 4 marks. Okay, you will not get less than 3 marks. So try to attempt the most of the most of the compulsory questions. I will suggest you to attempt at least 9 or 8 or 9 questions. It may be the case that you don't know the answer of particular 1 or 2 question, but try to attempt at least 8 questions. Okay, now we come back to the unit section, in which you have to attempt only one question, as you know. But and what are the questions, we must understand what are the elements of national mineral policy, with a special emphasis on the mineral and the mines and the mineral development, as well as the regulation act, or in simple terms or in abbreviated form it's known as MMDR Act, and discuss in detail the modes of occurrence, lithological, structural control, origin, as well as the distribution of gold deposits of India. So it's a long question. You have to write down everything, that is the mode of occurrence, the lithological units, the structural controls, the origin, as well as the distribution of gold deposits of India. So the occurrence, you have to talk about the Kolar goldfield and Hatti goldfield, as well as the Ramganga goldfield. Okay, these 3 or 4 goldfields you have to discuss. And next question, third one is classify and differentiate between the mineral resources as well as the reserves. So you have to define what is a mineral reserve and what is a mineral resource. Okay, and the differences in between them. And we have to also elaborate the conditions in which the resource can be converted to a reserve. Okay, next one is what are the important primary and secondary ore minerals of manganese, write an account of the classification of manganese deposits based on their host rock association as well as the genesis and their distribution in India. Okay, so this question we have discussed in detail. Okay, and you can watch that video in the playlist of geology paper 3rd in the geological knowledge YouTube channel, where we have discussed that is the synergetic gondatic type of deposits, synergetic reef type of deposits, the replacement type deposits, the laterite type of deposits. Okay, and we have also talked about that which deposits are occurring in which state. Okay, so if we talk about gondites, so they are occurring in MP and the Maharashtra region. Okay, and the kodurite, they are occurring in Odisha and Andhra Pradesh state. And the iron ore series, which are forming the replacement type of manganese deposits, they are occurring in Bihar and some part of Odisha also. So that you have to discuss. Okay, and account of the classification of manganese deposits based on their host rock association and genesis as well as their distribution in India. Okay, so all three things you have to discuss. And next one, C part is give an account of the ores formed by the contact metamorphism skarn type of deposits with some examples. Give an account of the ore deposits formed by the contact metamorphism skarn type deposits with some examples. Okay, so that is very easy question. If you have studied the particular topic, then you can easily answer it out. Section C is give a note on the porphyry type deposits and describe their mineralogical association, wall rock alterations and their tectonic framework with neat sketches as well as the examples. So porphyry type deposits, we have talked about. The best example is Malanjkhand copper deposit of Madhya Pradesh. Okay, when I was talking about the Malanjkhand copper deposit as well as the Khetri copper belt, in that video we have talked about that is the porphyry copper deposit. That is the best example of porphyry type of deposit in India. Okay, so that best example being the porphyry copper deposit of Malanjkhand, and the mineralogical association, wall rock alterations as well as the tectonic framework that we have to discuss. And second one is dealing with the describe the source and the composition of hydrothermal fluids. Write a short note or write a note on the classification of hydrothermal ore deposits and their textural features. Okay, so all in all you have to discuss about the hydrothermal ore deposits. Okay, and in which you have to talk about the various types of deposits associated. Write a note on the classification of hydrothermal ore deposits. So what you have to write it down, the classification of hydrothermal deposits. So all know that is Lindgren has classified. So Lindgren's classification you have to talk about, especially the hypothermal ore deposits, mesothermal ore deposits, or the epithermal ore deposits, or the xenothermal ore deposits. So that is what you have to talk about. Okay, and as well as their textural features. Okay, fifth one is enumerate suitable geophysical methods for the projection for the prospecting polymetallic lead zinc copper nodule sulfide mineralization with proper justification. Okay, so you have to talk about the geophysical methods for the prospecting of polymetallic nodules. And next one is write a note on the classification of magmatic ore deposits with special emphasis on various types of mineral deposits that are associated with the ultramafic or the komatitic deposits. Okay, so classification of magmatic deposits, in which you have to talk about the early magmatic deposits like dissemination deposits, segregation deposits, as well as the late magmatic deposits, in which you have to talk about the residual liquid segregation, residual liquid injection, immiscible liquid segregation, as well as the immiscible liquid injection. So all these two types of early as well as the late magmatic deposits as well as their subtypes you have to discuss. And you have to with special reference emphasis on various types of mineral deposits that are associated with the ultramafic, especially the komatiites. Okay. And next one is discuss the relationship between orogenesis and the plate tectonics. Means what is the relation between the process of orogenesis as well as the plate tectonic processes. So you all know that is the most of the minerals, whether or the most of the ore minerals which are formed, whether they are formed from the process of porphyry ore deposits or the other deposit processes, so they are formed from the plate tectonic processes. Okay, so how the porphyry type of deposits they are formed in the subduction plate boundary or the convergent plate boundary or the divergent plate boundary, so that you have to discuss in detail. And you have to also illustrate with some important ore deposits in India with neat sketches. Okay. Section D, there are again two questions. So first question is, what are the different types of drilling techniques that are used in the mineral exploration processes? Okay, add a note on the advantages of the core drilling. So you have to discuss about the different types of drilling like auger drilling, core drilling, diamond drilling. Okay, so that you have to discuss. And next one is explain the terms prospecting as well as the exploration. So what is the term prospecting and what is the exploration? So that you have to explain. And following a targeted identification as well as the investigation, outline various stages as well as the scheme of mineral exploration. Okay, so that's a very easy question. If you have understood this particular topic, means you have to talk about the reconnaissance prospecting, the detailed investigation, okay, the exploratory purposes or the geological mapping. So all you have to discuss in a hierarchical manner. Okay. And seventh one is detailed assay result of a copper mineralized zone intersected along a borehole that is given in the following tables, and considering the current cutoff grade of 1.5% copper, 3 copper lodes they have been identified and which are separated by 2 partings, and assuming the strike length of 180 meter, dip length of 60 meter, as well as the bulk density of 285 gram per cubic centimeter, you have to calculate the tonnage factor or the tonnage of the ore body at 1.3% of copper cutoff. Okay, so and the data sample length as well as the assay value that has been provided. Okay, so when we will talk about the numerical portion of the ore geology or this particular topic, we will talk about the numerical, their theory also as well as the numericals. Okay, and next one is discuss the conventional as well as the statistical resource or the reserve estimation, and you have to add a note on the merit and demerits of these methods. So we have broadly talked about this particular topic. We have talked about the assumptions also as well as the methods. Okay, so that is a very important topic from the exam point of view. You have to describe the various types of sampling along with their objectives and illustrate how the ore body geometry that guides the pattern interval. Okay, so various type of sampling methods along with their objectives, means what are the objectives or what are the factors which decide for the particular type of sampling, means which sampling process method has to be used for the sampling of which mineral. Okay, so that is very important topic and very easy also. Okay, that is not too tough. If you have understood the topic, then it will not be very tough for you to answer that particular question. Okay, and section E, that is dealing with the describe the type of organic material which are precursors for the transformation into oil as well as the gas, and explain briefly the transformation processes and the evolution of various corrosion types. Okay, and second one is give an account of qualification processes from the biochemical stage to the geochemical stage in the formation of different varieties of coal. So this is also important or easy question. Ninth one is briefly discuss proximate as well as the ultimate analysis of coal and add a note on the fuel ratio. So when I was talking about the compulsory question, there I have also told that there are 5 or 4 topics which are very important for the coal petrology. That is the Maseral as well as the Maseral groups. Okay, the proximate as well as the ultimate analysis of the coal. Okay, so the question is there. Ninth B is describe in detail the categories of petroliferous basins of India and their hydrocarbon potential. Okay, so as you know, there are 5 types of categories of sedimentary basins, and the category 1 type, these are important from the exam point of view. Okay, but here you have to describe in detail the categories of petroliferous basins of India and their hydrocarbon potential. And ninth C, that is write a note on the genetic classification of uranium deposits that we have discussed already in detail, and give an account of the geological setting, structural control as well as the mineralogical association of uranium deposits of Singhbhum shear zone. Okay, so you have to discuss in detail about Singhbhum shear zone. So in which you have talked about Jaduguda uranium mine, okay, and other, I don't remember the exact name, Baghjata uranium deposits, okay, Narwa Pahar, Turamdi, so that you have to discuss in detail, okay. And section F, that is the engineering geology. So question number 10A, explain the determination of compressive as well as the shear strength of rock in the laboratory conditions and draw Mohr circles to evaluate the stress analysis. And next one is what is the mass wasting, discuss the causes of mass wasting, write a note on the geological, geomorphological, structural and the geotechnical parameters in evaluating the landslides. Okay, you have to talk about the mass wasting and discuss the causes of mass wasting and write a note on the geological, geomorphological as well as the structural and geotechnical parameters in evaluating landslides, and differentiate between slide, slump as creep and mud flows. Okay, so that is very long topic, okay, but easy question. If you know the answer, then you can write it down. 11th one is explain the terms rock quality designation or RQD and modified core recovery or MCR. Add a note on the rock classification system based on RQD. And there is a question numerical here. In a drilling operation conducted in a terrain, the total core drilled is 6,000 centimeter and total core recovery that has been found, that is 5,300 centimeter, and the modified core recovery, that is 4,800 centimeter. So you have to calculate the RQD and the comment, you have to comment also on the status of the rock evaluation on the basis of RQD. Okay, so question is easy. If you know, again, if you know, understand the basics or the concept, then you can answer this particular question. And next one is differentiate between reservoir induced seismicity or RIS, and you have to add a natural earthquake. So what are the differences between reservoir induced seismicity as well as the natural earthquakes? Okay, and you have to add a note on the seismic zones of India, that is also very important or very easy question, and give an example of an important reservoir induced seismicity affected area in India. So I think Koina earthquake that has taken place way back in 90s, that is one example I am remembering. I am not sure, but I think that's an example. Koina earthquake in Maharashtra. Okay, that was produced by a reservoir induced seismicity. Okay. Next one is what is the main purpose of testing the soil in terms of geotechnical engineering, and discuss about soil in terms of the soil density, plastic index as well as the hydraulic conductivity. So all in all you have to talk about the soil testing. Okay. And now we come back to hydrogeology section. So here the instructions are very important. Why have already been talk about the instructions? Now you can see. So in all the papers, geology paper 1, 2, 3, you have to answer 11 question, but in hydrogeology section the pattern has been changed. Okay, in the last 4 or 5, 3, 4 years the questions are asked, only 9 questions are asked. So there are 9 questions divided into 5 sections. So one compulsory section and 4 units only. Okay, and attempt 5 question you have to, all in all. The only question section A that is compulsory, and out of the remaining 8 question you have to attempt one question from the section B, C, D and E. The numbers of marks carried by a question that has been highlighted, symbols, abbreviations and notations, they have their usual meanings, standard meanings. Neat sketches you have to draw, wherever required graphs, tables, they have to be drawn. Okay, so that is why I am discussing this, because you have to keep in mind that there are only 9 questions. Okay, and here instruction is also there, you have to write short note on the following in not more than 5 sentences each. So you have to abide by the instructions given in the examinations or given in the paper. Okay, so 5 sentences, not more than 5 sentences. So hardness of a groundwater and its significance, Darcy's law, transmissivity and the storage coefficient of an aquifer, Piper's diagram of graphical representation of groundwater quality data, the lineation based exploration of groundwater, perennial yield, runoff hydrographs and the diurnal fluctuation in groundwater table. So these are very easy, I think I should say very easy questions. All the compulsories you must attempt. Okay, and there are only 8 compulsories, not 10. Okay, you have to keep in mind. And section B, so first question dealing with the what do you understand by the term specific yield. Okay, so you have to write down about specific yield, specific retention and porosity of an aquifer, and also you have to derive an expression to show the interrelationship between specific yield and specific retention as well as the porosity. So in a nutshell I have to tell, or in a nutshell I can say that is total porosity that equals specific yield as well as the specific retention. Okay, so that is the summation of specific yield and specific retention, that is equals to total porosity. Okay, so that formula you have to derive. And part B, explain the hydrostatic equilibrium which is developed along the coastal areas and how excessive groundwater withdrawal that may cause saltwater intrusion and contamination of an aquifer. I have to draw a neat sketch for your illustration. Okay, and third one is, or C part, that is a question numerical here. In a pumping test of an aquifer, the discharge of water coming out of the pumping well, I should not discuss this question because the Jacobs methods, the Jacob themes. Okay, so these methods, these are not now in your syllabus. Okay, so there is no matter of discussion of this particular topic because this is not in your syllabus now. And the second question of hydrogeology section, that is you have to write down short note on the following. Okay, difference between the hydraulic head and the hydraulic gradient, difference among the aquifer, aquifuse and aquiclude and aquitard, cone of depression and safe distance. And question number B, that is what is the hydraulic conductivity of an aquifer, and we have to calculate the hydraulic conductivity of an aquifer in which the Darcy velocity that is given 10 centimeter per day and hydraulic gradient that is 0.001. Okay, so numerical is very easy. And determine the transmissivity of a 10-meter thick sandstone whose hydraulic conductivity is 10 centimeter per day. Okay, so you have to apply the formula hydraulic conductivity, that equals to T into B. Okay, so hydraulic conductivity is given, transmissivity T is given, sorry, you have to determine the transmissivity T, you have to calculate, and the thickness of sandstone, that is also been given 10 meter. Okay, so you have to apply formula, hydraulic conductivity equals transmissivity into thickness. Okay, thickness of aquifer generally in the formula, but here the sandstone is given, so you have to pinpoint sandstone. Okay, and question number C is illustrate the following types of water quality diagrams: stiff diagram as well as the Wilcox diagram. So Wilcox diagram, that I am hearing for the first time. Okay, I have no idea about Wilcox diagram, but a stiff diagram, Piper diagram, these are important and these are generally asked in examinations. Next question is fourth one, discuss briefly on the problem of fluoride contamination in groundwater and giving emphasis on its distribution in Indian scenario as well as related health hazard. Okay, so this is a essay type of question that we have to briefly describe the problem of fluoride contamination, especially in coastal areas of India. Okay, in groundwater and giving emphasis on its distribution in Indian scenario as well as the related health hazards. And B1 is briefly discuss on the different parameters considered for the irrigation stability, okay, of groundwater, and enumerate briefly on each them, giving the emphasis on their working formula as well as the suitable range. And C1 is how do you differentiate between confined and unconfined aquifer. Very easy question, and you have to illustrate your views on neat sketches. Okay, and write a short note on the purged aquifer and its significance in water supply schemes. Fifth one is write what are springs and explain with different types of springs with special reference to a hot spring. Okay, so you have to discuss in detail about springs, their definition as well as the special reference with the hot springs. And B is how can isotope hydrology help in groundwater pH determination. That is also easy. And C, question numbers are the part C is write short note on the following: the meteoric water and magmatic water hydrostratigraphic units. Okay, so all the questions are very easy, you can easily answer them out. And the D unit, that is describe the geological investigation technique for the groundwater exploration, discuss rock resistivity and list its values for the common rocks. Okay, so resistivity values for the common rocks, explain the field survey method of the groundwater prospecting using Venner configuration. Okay, as you know that in Venner configuration of resistivity survey, the spacing between the potential electrodes or the current electrodes, that is put equal. And C1 is write what is a pumping test and how is the pumping test data obtained and interpreted. And seventh one is explain the design of a tube well. Okay, and how is the tube well different from a dug well. Okay, B1 is examine the impact of excessive pumping of groundwater from wells in close distance. And C is comment on the utility of radiation logging in groundwater exploration. Okay, so that is the questions from the groundwater exploration unit and the pumping test or the well pumping. Okay, and E unit is that is discussing the impact of mining on groundwater. That is theoretical question and very important also. Okay, so you have to discuss about the impact of mining on groundwater. So you know that is in the process of mining, various types of chemicals they are being used, and generally they are being flowed freely in the groundwater. Okay, So that put very harmful impact, very negative impact on the health of the particulates. That is you have to discuss. And second one is explain the groundwater problem encountered while tunneling. Okay. So during the process of tunneling, what happens that the overbreak, if that collapses down, so the plant material or the earthy material that get mixed with the groundwaters. Okay, and there are other influences or the negative impacts of tunneling also. So that again successively put a negative impact on the storage of the groundwater as well as their quality. And C1 is discuss the status of sustainable development of groundwater in India. Okay. Ninth one is what is meant by rainwater harvesting and discuss the current status of rainwater harvesting in India. Comment on the global water budgeting including groundwater. Okay, and write with neat diagrams the impact of influent and the effluent streams on the groundwater levels of a region. Okay, so that was the question paper of 2019 geology paper third, that is of economic geology, petroleum geology, uh, exploration geology, okay, as well as the engineering geology, okay, and the hydrogeology paper. So all in all you can say that you have to just, if you have understood a particular topic or you have thoroughly studied that particular unit or particular topic, then it will be very easy for you to answer the particular questions. Okay, thank you. In the next video we will talk about other questions, other question paper, that is of 2018. Okay, thank you.